22-74. So I'm not mad at that. When
you went Zach Wilson in cash. What are you gonna do?
I mean, there's lots of people that went worse than Zach Wilson in cash. I mean, in terms of what they've actually produced. Who was the guy that I was talking about that was like 4,900 last week? Ended up being actually pretty good.
Who was that?
I can't remember. There was somebody else though, like because I thought about dropping down even lower than Zach Wilson and wished I had.
All right, here we go.
Ow!
Good morning, everybody. Week 16. Welcome to FFT, Fantasy Football Theories. We're giving you game picks, injury updates. Hold on, let me fade that out. We're giving you game picks, injury updates, fantasy must-starts, someone to root for. I'm your host, Ray. Calling it like I see it and trying to bring extra element beyond regular statistics. You can find me at Cloud Adjuster on all things social media. With me today are Ken and Brian. Ken is our game analyst, watching every game and going beyond the stats for fantasy projections. You can find him at Ken Against the Clocks on Instagram, Mr. Goodback on X, former Twitter, at Baba Yaga XX at the Sleeper app. And then Brian is a fantasy badman, expert fantasy football and poker player in the casino industry for over 20 years, our defending league champion and absolutely destroying in DraftKings this year. You don't find him, he finds you. How's it going, guys?
Hey, good to be here.
Good morning. It'd be better if I was still alive in some leagues, but we will suffice on our opponent from last week and his anguish over George Pickens' performance yesterday. That'll have to do. That was delicious. I gotta say, thanks, Cam.
Yeah, Cameron, that was great.
Made my week.
And you know when he said he threw his phone, I know he actually.
I believe him. I believed him.
Completely.
Yeah, and I mean it's funny to me because like I didn't do any of that stuff, and I feel like George Pickens, while it's ridiculous that he went off, I don't think it's near as ridiculous as some of the stuff I endured last week, like with the Raiders scoring 30 points in their defense. Like, have the Raiders ever scored 30 fantasy points on defense besides last week? I can't think of a time when their defense was that good.
Has their quarterback
When
done
was
that
the last
this year?
time the Raiders defense scored multiple touchdowns in a game? Seriously, I'd like to know.
Has their quarterback scored that much this year?
Huh?
In fantasy?
No,
Is their quarterback?
no, but I mean,
Not even
that's
their
not. I
quarterback?
was playing against the Raiders defense, though.
Yeah, I know, but
So it's just like, the Chargers, they lost Herbert. Okay, the Raiders are going to score like 10 points. They're going to be a good start. He's going to get a solid start out of them. No.
So
29
points. Joining us today, Brian has to, for some unforeseen circumstances, he's got to join us satellite. So there he is. He's joining us satellite. So if you're listening to him on the mic, forgive him.
Getting to look at the trophy.
We need to get a USB mic. That way we could just pass it around as needed. So do we want to start with Homer Minute? Or
Oh man,
it's a Christmas
Let me
gift.
get mine out of the way first. It was horrible.
Okay.
It was so bad. And I gotta apologize to some people. I hope I didn't turn anybody off of James Cook. As I was watching the game and James Cook was going off, I remembered being like down on him, but I re-listened to the podcast and I didn't tell anybody not to start him. So I hope you still started him. Like he still should have made your number one or number two running back. So you should have enjoyed that. As a Cowboys fan, it was incredibly frustrating to watch. They haven't been beaten up like that on the ground this year at all. I mean, even the game where they got pounded in against the 49ers, they held McCaffrey to his lowest point total of the season. It was, still 13.9 or something like that, but it was his lowest point total of the season, and he only had like 40 some odd rushing yards. And the 49ers are a much better rushing team than the Bills. And the Bills have been a stubborn team that just despite the fact that they have James Cook back there, they've not ever employed a rushing attack like that. Like Josh Allen attempted something like 7 passes in the first half or something. It was crazy. It was a weird game. It was super effective though, and I'm hoping it's not a trend But the Cowboys were down Jonathan Hankins. I'm hoping they have him back today. And that's it. That's it for me.
Okay. I'll go ahead and go next. Nice to watch our boys get a win yesterday. But, I mean, what do you expect when you've got Rudolph as quarterback on Christmas weekend? I mean, if you don't win, well, there's something wrong with the
And
world.
on that note, I'm hoping that Rudolph saves my Christmas because my opponent played in half PPR Dynasty. My opponent played the Cincinnati defense yesterday. So he was probably expecting much more than 1 point.
I was going to say, what was that, -1 point?
You know what? I actually need to double check because that was at the point when the Steelers were only they were up 24-0 or something like that. So I don't even know how they finished. But yeah, Rudolph looked awesome yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, he obviously knows the system.
I
I'm
should
not
say
getting
awesome
excited.
compared
I know
to
who
Trubisky.
he is, but
he looks like
exactly.
he looked like an actual backup quarterback, someone that can come in and continue to run the actual offense instead of when you go from Pickett to Trubisky, it's like you change teams.
Yeah.
The thing is they're not even trying to do the same things though. It looks the offense looks so different. Whereas watching Rudolph yesterday, it was yeah, he's not Kenny Pickett, but this is okay. We could probably win this way against we could probably win a playoff game this way.
Yeah, no, and it was good to see. I'm not getting excited or anything. I still think we're on our way to another 9-8 season and missing the playoffs, but that's okay. You know what I mean? At least without Trubisky in there, I can see some growth. I can at least feel like okay, maybe we can actually play on Sunday. So hey, something to look for. And just to go on, my fantasy team in our league, I am still alive. I'm still alive in another league too, but our league is the league for me.
No Michael Pittman today.
And you can see, let me get that. There you go. You can see the trophy in there. Yep.
That's badass.
That's a nice trophy, right?
Yep. So I would like to keep that trophy in my house. So wish me luck this weekend. I've got basically a 50-50 chance. I really need Tyreek Hill to play, and I really need McCaffrey to go off again. So,
well, you can pretty much count on that. McCaffrey, and we'll talk about that 49ers Ravens game later. But I can't wait to talk about that one. That never happens either, where you get this late in the season, you have the 2 number 1 seeds, going at it in prime time. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Good job.
I think it's gonna be a blowout, but pretty cool.
I do too. I do too. Rewatching that Jaguars Ravens game. We'll talk about that whenever we get to the Jaguars too. Is one of the most interesting things to me. It's funny because I'll bring it up a little bit later. It's a little bit. It's a little homerish, but it has more to do with the Jaguars and the Ravens than it does me. So.
All right. Well, let's hear about those Rams, man.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was fun. I gotta say, it felt good to be as a non-Rams fan to be watching them on Thursday night, expecting good things to happen for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
That was because it's in the Sean McVay era, they've been so good, and then the last 18 months we've been so down on them because of the things that have taken place. It was nice to just and they're cooking, man. On offense, they're cooking. It's awesome to watch.
Yeah, one of the things somebody at work a lot of people come up to me about the Rams, and always Rams fans usually.
Well, you do have a podcast,
yeah,
and you are a Rams fan.
Well, I think a lot of it is I always during the football season I'm always going to work in my Rams gear, win or lose. I'm always wearing. So people are, sometimes people don't wear their gear when they're upset with them, but I always wear,
especially afterwards for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one of them before the season started, how much are we going? How many wins we getting this year? I was like, I think we're gonna get 10. And he was like, oh man, I'm just hoping we get more than last year. And I was like, no, I think we're pretty solid. I think we're gonna hit 10. You got to understand, last year we were riddled with injuries, and
rebuilding.
On the fly. Yeah, and Sean, I think it's more the injuries than the rebuild, but I think we're seeing now that McVay can develop players. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Even from the 4th, 5th round, and he's just got that mind. You gotta let it develop. And one of the things I heard a broadcaster say over the game, I think it was yesterday, it might have been the Sunday game, was he is okay giving people. It was Thursday. It was a Thursday game. He's okay with giving people chances, even when they messed up. Like Williams fumbled the ball twice on Sunday, and he still allowed him to keep out there, keep running. And that's the difference between him and a lot of other coaches. Is he understands that this is a rookie player or a fresh player. They're gonna do that. I can't be the one to hinder their confidence. And well, at least that's what it's coming off as. That's what it's coming off as. It's not
working
coming
out.
Yeah, and so we're almost there. We're 2 away with 2 games left. I mean, we're almost going to be exactly 10-7. We'll see what happens with the Niners. If the Niners sit a lot of players,
I think you're going to win that game, dude. I have a feel. I have it, especially with what's going on with the Eagles right now. I have a sneaking feeling the 49ers aren't going to have to play that game.
You know, and even if we do and we lose, it almost makes it feel like we're going to beat them in the playoffs, because that's exactly what happened last time we went to the Super Bowls. We lost. They swept us
twice, and then you beat them in the playoffs.
Because the statistics of beating any team
3 times,
3 times in one season is like
yeah,
astronomically low. Mm-hmm. So even if we lose that game, it's kind of like, well, we'll see you in the playoffs kind of thing. So anyway, that's my minute. I think we're gonna hit that 10-7. We're gonna beat the Niners. A last season game. Probably hurt one of their players in the progress too.
Yeah. Get them.
So with that, do we want to do Christmas gifts now?
Ooh, that's a good idea. Let me put on my hat first.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. Brian, why don't you go over why Ken's wearing the hat?
Because Brian's lucky, that's why.
Oh, yes.
Brian's
I finished as wide receiver 3. Fuck you.
5 weeks in a row. Or 4 weeks or whatever.
It's so
it is.
lucky. This is
6
like,
weeks in
fantasy
a row.
football is so funny. It's so lucky. He's so lucky. Because, like, he picks DK Metcalf, right? And then DK Metcalf has that one play, and what's he done since that play? Nothing. He's done nothing.
Enjoy your hat, sir.
So
for the 6th time in a row, we made a bet, and we usually do that. We've been doing the pie bets, but we decided that we wanted to save the pie bets for the really big bets, when we're really like talking smack about something, and we were like, no, put a pie on it. So our like average bet is going to be a hat bet, and so that way you viewers at home can see who exactly the loser is this week and who you should really be listening to.
Wow. Yeah. Because you should definitely have Terry McLaurin in your top 5 wide receiver rankings based on what's been going on.
Is that what I had? No.
And you know what? It wasn't even just that. He didn't. Not even did he finish wide receiver 3. It wasn't until Jacoby Brissett entered the game in the middle of the end of the 3rd quarter, I think it was. He had nothing. He had absolutely nothing. He had like. There was one catch that had gotten taken away from him that was close, and it was like a 40-yard catch. And I watched it, and I was like, oh, my God. And then watching the replay, he actually didn't catch it, so it was the right call to take it away. And all the way until Brissett came into the game, he had one catch for like 18 yards or something like that. And he wasn't getting targeted. Like, I was absolutely right. So I'm not even, like, I'll wear this hat, but I was not wrong. Who predicted Sam Howell was not going to finish the game? Not a lot of people did. Like, nobody did. So nobody was playing McLaurin, and it was the right call because Sam Howell wasn't going to throw him the ball.
Says the poop head.
Whatever, dude. Get lucky again. Find more ways to get lucky, dude. Like, it's and I mean, and right now we're in week 16, so this is the week where you hear more than anything, like more than any other week, you're hearing fantasy analysts talk about luck. Because because there's so many of them, because it's playoff time, and there's a lot of them that are losing their matches, and it couldn't possibly be skill. But that's the thing is, like, and the industry, what's becoming an industry adage now is that it takes skill to make the playoffs, and it takes luck to win. And it's the same thing when you're making like these heads up picks. It's Like, because you're watching it on Sunday, and the things that happen to determine who actually wins these bets, it's like some of the stuff's crazy. And
Of course.
this was the craziest of them all so far. Like, this was the craziest because you were losing bad. You were going down in flames on this one, and then the Commanders decide to bench Howell, and Brissett's like, "Hey, I'm only gonna throw to McLaurin." So,
Which is what they should be doing.
hey, and to finish that off, I love Terry McLaurin. Like, I bet against him a lot because of his situation and because what the Commanders are doing. But I'd like to bet on him because I like watching him play football. And I mean, I do have him in my dynasty rebuild as my wide receiver 2, 3. He's like behind Garrett Wilson and Zay Flowers. So like I have him on a team in an important spot. Like, I'm expecting to be more competitive with that team next year. Actually, it's funny right now. If we had made the playoffs, we'd be winning. I'm outscoring people in the playoffs now with guys like I'm starting Nick Mullins today at quarterback.
Mighty Nick Mullins.
But I have Kyron Williams, Achan, Garrett Wilson, Sam Laporta. I have Flowers. I have Njoku. Like the team's getting to the point where it's pretty loaded. So I think we're gonna have a shot next year. So yeah, McLaurin's a good player, and like it feels bad betting against him, but when something like that happens, it's like I just gotta laugh, you know. It's just funny. Fantasy gods are, they gotta conspire against you sometimes. All right, we're ready for games now.
Well, actually, I thought we were gonna do some Christmas gifts, man.
Dang it!
I'm over here on pins and needles, man.
So this one looks like it's to Ray from the Quimmins.
Oh, he put his family on there.
Yeah,
From his family.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Does that mean you sacrificed Christmas gifts to your family?
Well, in fairness, I told my wife to do it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure what was on there.
Oh God.
Oh, I like this one. I think you're gonna like this one.
Ooh.
Felt like there was a sock or something.
Come on.
I'm
I can't wear that. It's hilarious. I love it's hilarious, but I can't wear that. That's funny. Merry Christmas.
Oh my God, I love it.
I'll wear it for today. I will wear it for today.
Let's see what I got here.
All right, so you're gonna have to. I'll open Brian's, and then you can.
Sean McVay on puppet strings.
On,
Where'd you get these? Did you Amazon these?
Dude. No, those are on TeePublic.
He's like, I got a T-shirt guy.
Oh shoot.
The one closest to you is Brian's.
Brian, do you want me to open yours?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this one's to Brian from Ken.
Oh, here, I'll open that. You open yours.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, I'm gonna open Brian's for his, and then.
Oh, this is awesome.
Merry Christmas, dude.
Oh, awesome, man. Thank you.
Right?
We could put it
Yeah.
somewhere. Hang it.
I figured we put them here somewhere. So I got
Perfect.
I like that old school helmet, dude. That Rams helmet.
Yeah.
A lot of people like
And
the
then-
old school stuff.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
actually,
Merry Christmas.
we didn't even say that. Merry Christmas, everybody, and thanks for being with us this morning.
Absolutely.
And we're happy to be here. And I know there's a lot of shows that aren't happening today that normally would be happening because they're spending time with family. And they're full of crap. They're just using the fact that it's a holiday to just sit at home and watch football this morning. You know that. They're not spending any extra time with their family. They did everything they were supposed to do, like last night, the day before, whatever, and they're just like, don't bother me, dad mode watching football today. You know it.
So the blue bag's yours. I'll go ahead and open up Brian's. When I do this stuff for these guys, I try to find the most unique things I can out there, or something that it's hard to find.
This bag is for me?
Yeah. So, Brian, I got you this Steelers bottle opener.
Nice. Oh, cool.
This is awesome.
Thank you, sir.
And I couldn't find one like this for Ken, so I tried to kind of basically give you guys matching stuff.
Dude, I'm
But I guess I got
blown
him some tumblers.
This is awesome. This I can use.
I see you come here all the time
Nice.
with your tumblers, so that's why I was
Thank
like,
you, man. Thank you.
And then-
is that what this is, too?
Then the
Oh,
Steelers
very
ashtray
cool.
and match. I know you don't smoke, but I know you smoke, so that was cryptic talk. You guys can figure it out.
Oh, this is sweet, man. Thank you. Dude,
Thank you very much, man.
It's a nice tumbler, huh? And then let's see here. I don't want to drop something. Let's see here. And then I got you this. I like the mugs that have like the plates on them and stuff, but they can get destroyed in the dishwasher. So I went ahead and got you guys these frosted.
Hey,
They're like,
very cool.
So their dishwasher like won't destroy them
dude,
Nice.
because they're etched.
Thank you,
They're
brother.
etched.
yeah, it's really nice.
And there's another one in there. Let me see. Stuff you guys could use.
All right, this is awesome. We're getting into the Christmas spirit. All right.
I know.
I'm-
Merry Christmas.
This
guys.
feels
This is
great
cool.
because I actually just finished wrapping all my gifts last night.
And there's your
So
other
I've
one.
just been, and up until you do that,
Oh,
you know,
nice, man.
you're still just like stressed out from all the stuff that you feel like you've got on your head that you have to do. So I've just since last night entered the relaxation, you know, we're waiting for Christmas to happen now.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
I'm almost there. I've got 3 or 4 things to do today, but they're minor. So
Yeah, that's.
I'll be in that relaxed mode
and
soon.
I'm actually saying that while I have a couple of things to do. It's just that, up until now, I had a pile of gifts, you know, from all the Amazon stuff that had come in and all that, and just sitting in places, and it was
Yeah.
wasn't even sure if everything had come yet, you know, because it's
Yep.
just I hadn't accounted for it. So until I actually wrapped it and was okay, whose gifts haven't I wrapped yet or whatever? Yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah. I actually have 2 gifts that didn't make it in time. I'm kind of irritated by that.
That's always
You know?
frustrating.
Yeah, and they tell you it's going to be here by that 20th or whatever, and then here it is, and it's like, what? Come on, guys.
Well, and not even just that. Some of the tags will say "arrive before Christmas." That's a selling point.
Exactly.
Is that it's
Yeah.
going to arrive before Christmas, and that's why you click on it.
Yep.
So I want my money back.
But-
I bought.
Right?
I bought arriving before Christmas. All right, guys. I hope you enjoy your gifts.
Yeah. Oh, and the
Absolutely.
wife
Thank you very much.
baked you guys 2 cookie pans back there. So
Oh, that's awesome. I'll take Brian's for him.
yeah, I figured you take all
And
of
drop
this
it
stuff.
by the house.
Yeah.
Say that.
Come on, man.
The Cookie Monster.
Fuck! I got locked out of my DraftKings account. They said
How'd you
for
get
multiple
locked
logins, and I'm like, no, I'm just on a computer with multiple windows open.
You can't do that.
Apparently not, but I've been doing it all season.
They caught you. All right, everybody. We're a little slow to get into the games, but I think we're there now. I think we're ready. And we got a good one. If the list is the same as what you're about to pull up right now, what I'm looking at, the first one we get to talk about is a really good one, and really important to me personally.
Come on. Oh, we're gonna get to the games now.
Yeah,
Let me see here.
let's do it.
Yes,
I
please.
got my hat on. We've been through all the stuff. We opened up our beautiful Christmas gifts. I love this Steelers helmet, dude.
That's a cool one, man.
And I got my I was hunting through stuff, and I went through all the different ones that they had. So I picked these 2 because I liked them the best. So I wanted to see what you guys thought about them. But and they had a lot of options. It was cool. I almost got Ray the 50s Rams one, the white horns.
Oh, yeah.
I was
This
like,
one's the
"Nah."
80s, right?
Huh? No,
was
this
from the
this
80s.
is also the one they won the '99 Super Bowl. Their first Super Bowl win
Oh, okay.
is with this helmet.
Yeah, I always thought that was the cleanest. I like that one.
I like it too. It's the one that Eric Dickerson played with. So
What the fuck? The funny thing about that was, actually, you were surprisingly harder to shop for than Brian was. It was very interesting.
that is weird.
It just seemed to me like everybody had like these Cowboys, this and that and the other, and nothing really unique about them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it was just all just kind of standard. I think what ended up happening was like, what probably ended up happening was like the bottle opener probably was swooped up by a Cowboy fan like really fast, but the Steeler one got hung back. Gosh. So yeah, let me see if I can get these games pulled up now that my account's been locked
This
out.
shirt is too funny, dude.
So
This
first,
shirt's too funny.
I might have to fix this one.
I might actually just wear it. It's too funny.
It's probably not good for this year, like the years that you're doing good. You know what I mean? But the years
hey, we've been okay. When you say doing good, quote unquote, like we've been doing good for like 10 years now. I actually just had this thought, like, because DeMarcus Lawrence has been on the team since 2014. He was a second-round draft pick in 2014, and in 2014, the Cowboys went 12-4, and they went 8-0 on the road that year. They went. They ultimately went 9-1 on the road. They lost in the divisional round finally to the Packers. No, actually, I think they had a home game. Just anyway, he himself has been a part of some really good Cowboy teams that have come up short. You know, the 2014 team, the 2016 team, the 2018 team, and the 2018 team ran up into the Rams. You know, but still, like I thought they had a much better chance of winning that game than the final score ultimately dictated. But anyway, yeah, we've been quote unquote doing good for a while, and so I'm ready for like a little better than this. So, and until they give it to me, I miss the 90s.
So first up, Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings. Detroit Lions -2.5. Over under is 47.5. Money line's at 155 plus 130 if you're betting on the Vikings.
This game is hard to pick. Hard to pick.
I don't know about that. I mean, it seems like it's it's an easy Detroit, but
I don't think so,
man.
man.
That's what I'm saying. Like a
so.
divisional game like that.
You look at how how Detroit struggled in both of those Chicago games, and Minnesota's defense is better.
All right.
And,
well, they were better until last week. What happened last week?
They were still mostly fine. There was some lucky stuff that happened last week.
I was counting on them last week, suckers.
Yeah, you sure were. I thought last week they went away from how they were winning the game. They went into they tried to, I don't know, like run the clock out. They tried to just like hide with the game instead of, continuing to attack the Bengals. They let the Bengals get back in the game. But they found something on the ground, it looks like, with Ty Chandler. So we'll see if they're able to continue that. I mean, Justin Jefferson looked good in his return. Those Addison touchdowns were both pretty lucky, especially the second one. But I like the Vikings today. Like I don't think the Lions are going to be able to stop Justin Jefferson or Addison or Hawkinson. They might have some success against the Vikings rushing attack, but even that, I would still start Chandler. So, and to me, like Chandler is a top 24 start. Like it's going to be really, really, really hard to sit him today.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's back half of RB2. I'd put him around the 20ish range, but still, I mean that's somebody that you're putting in your lineup. Yeah. Madison is supposed to be playing today. He is in there, but because of what Chandler showed last week, well, now I wouldn't feel super confident in either one, but I definitely feel more confident in Chandler of the two. But Madison, I'm gonna have to leave him on my bench today, and I need him. But how can you have any confidence?
You should. You can't. Chandler looked better last week than Madison looked all season.
Yeah. Which is weird because Chandler's been around a while. Like it just usually backs like that. I think this is his second or third year.
And you've got to remember the guys that were in front of him. Like they have Madison, who they looked at as like a 1B, to Dalvin Cook, who's a superstar. So of course he didn't do anything. He was never going to have a chance. And they even had guys like Mike Boone at running back 3. So and these are guys that have moved on to do things elsewhere. It's just so on sleeper. Madison's gonna be active, but may have a light role, and that's what I would expect. Like I would expect his role to be very light. Like they might like him better maybe on the goal line because he's bigger, but I don't even know how much bigger he is. Let's see, he's 215, and Chandler. And Chandler's 205, so and they're the same age, and this is Chandler's second year. This is only his second year, so him, if he becomes a breakout, it's not really that uncommon.
Okay, I have a sneaking suspicion that he's not as good as what he was last week, but we'll see. And Detroit, I'm going to go ahead and take Detroit here, but I totally see what you're saying. I think this could be a really tough divisional game. And Vikings very well could win it, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Detroit.
And I'm going to pick the Vikings because I'm rooting for them. Because in my half PPR Dynasty League, I'm going against the Detroit team, the team that has Jared Goff, Gibbs, Laporta, Amon St. Brown. So I'm rooting for the Vikings today.
So you're talking yourself into this. I got it.
No, I'm not talking myself into it. And actually, and real quick, so that team they went off last week, right? And he beat the team that had the Raiders defense. And this week so far, he's basically got the same starting lineup, and he left Chris Olave on his bench.
Mm-hmm.
He left George Pickens on his bench.
And, oh wow!
And he started Jared Goff over Derek Carr. And another thing is interesting about this is the Vikings play a lot of cover 2, and the statistics for the Lions against cover 2 are actually horrendous. Jared Goff is the 35th out of 36 qualified passers in passer rating against cover 2. Amon St. Brown goes from averaging just over 2 yards a target, not 2 yards target, 2 yards per route run to a half a yard per route run. It's pretty atrocious. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Vikings do have success against the Lions today. They are a defense that is set up to do it. They're at home. They're playing well. They're mad from yesterday, or not yesterday, last week. They should have won. They should have won last week.
What about you, Ray? Who you got?
I got the Lions. I'm not trying to bet on the Vikings right now.
I don't like betting on the Vikings, but I think they do have a good shot today. And Nick Mullins is a good fantasy play today.
Up next is Seahawks versus Titans. Seahawks -3. I need them to lose. 42.5 is the over/under. -166 is the money line. +140 for betting on the Titans.
They can get that loss. I think they play us next week or the week after. They can get the loss then because I don't think they're going to get it today.
It's next week. You guys have to go to Seattle. And it'll be Rudolph after Christmas. I don't know how good Rudolph is after Christmas.
I don't either.
But for this game, no Will Levis. There's no way I'm picking the Titans. No, actually, it's one of those. It makes me kind of want to pick the Titans because Ryan Tannehill's a pro, and unless he's just gonna walk right off into the sunset and retire, which would be silly when you look at the quarterback landscape. I mean, how hot is Ryan Tannehill gonna be this offseason? Right. I wouldn't be surprised to see them have a great game today. I like DeAndre Hopkins a lot. Treylon Burks finally had a game last week where he did multiple things and didn't get hurt.
Wow.
I think he had 3 catches for 80 yards last week. I'll have to double check that.
Yeah, still somebody that's just on your radar. Not
Dynasty. I'm giving Dynasty perspectives a lot. He's not somebody you should be thinking about at all for your redraft.
Yeah.
But keepers maybe next year, stuff like that, depending on what you have available to you. It was 3 for 62. He was 3 catches on 3 targets for 62 yards last week. and he had a rushing attempt as well. And this was on 76% of snaps, which is the most he has played since week 1. So and he gets to play Seattle, Houston, and Jacksonville to finish the season. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And then
Seattle side. I mean, you got to like your weapons over here. I mean, you got
Ken Walker.
JSN that's coming along. You
Ken
got
Walker.
Ken Walker that's back. You've got
and there's
DK
no Jeffrey
that you have
Simmons.
to start.
Actually, the Titans just put Jeffrey Simmons, their all-world defensive tackle, like to me has passed Aaron Donald in disruptiveness. I love Aaron Donald still, but Jeffrey Simmons is like 6 years younger. So that's just how it is. Aaron Donald plays like 65 to 70% of the snaps now. Because he leaves the game quite a bit. Whereas Jeffrey Simmons is just disruptive every single play of the game. So they're really missing him. So yeah, I actually got quite a bit for this game. On the other side, the Seahawks have given up 170 plus yards in 3 consecutive games. And so these are different types of running backs. They're just giving up to everybody. So I think if you've got Derrick Henry, despite what happened last week, you got to roll with him. You have to start Derrick Henry. There's no way you sit him. Just go back to him, run him again.
It's kind of been the Derrick Henry experience this year.
More so
ups and downs. You know
I think the Titans' offense is just the worst it has been in his career, and he's 29. So it's just I don't think that Derrick Henry particularly looks worse. I think he does seem to go down easier, but I'm not entirely sure that that's not just like strategy on his part. It's like because he sees the 3 guys behind the guy that he's about to, whose tackle he could break, and it's like, I'll just go down now. But so yeah, the Seahawks are giving it up on the ground. They on the other side, the Titans, they got demolished by Devin Singletary last week. Devin Singletary looked like Christian McCaffrey last week,
right?
And they got to go against Ken Walker III this week. So, and Ken Walker III is an obvious, talent upgrade from Devin Singletary. So you got to be a little worried if you're a Titans fan. But you shouldn't be too worried because, man, Will Levis looks awesome, dude. He's making plays every single week now. It's not showing up in fantasy yet, but you know who he reminds me of when I watch him is like 2019 Josh Allen. Like before Josh Allen had the blow up, because he's got this charisma that the team seems to follow. Like they feed off of his energy when he makes plays. That like the team gets energized, and just the emotion that he plays with, and then also like some of the things that people are worried about, like his accuracy. Like he's got I think he's only completing like 55% of his passes or something like that. Josh Allen had the same problem when he was young, and a lot of people didn't think that he was ever going to develop into a passer. But there's, to me, like when you're talking about the quarterback position, there's just certain intangibles that you look for, and he's got those. And the way that he plays the game reminds me of Josh Allen a lot. So I'm trying to get him everywhere. And again, this is not for redraft, but for dynasty. I think Will Levis is going to be an outstanding player, a league winner. Right. I think if you can get your hands on him this offseason.
And I think the only other thing to mention is Geno Smith is back and is a borderline starter this week. So
I honestly didn't see much of a difference in their offense when you're talking about when it was run by Drew Lock and when it was run by Geno Smith this year. Geno Smith had one great game against the Cowboys, but other than that, he's like Drew Lock's last couple of starts were better than a handful of Geno's starts this year. So I am going to pick the Seahawks, and again, not feel great about this pick, but I'm gonna pick the Seahawks today. I think they have like I said, I think Tennessee feeds off of Will Levis, and then they're missing their best defensive player too. So a Tannehill renaissance where he throws for 3 touchdowns isn't out of the question, but I still think the Titans lose today. I think they'll give up 34, 40 points.
All right. And asking for a friend, Geno Smith or Joe Flacco?
I would rather play Geno today.
Really?
Yeah, because I just don't think the Browns-Texans game is going to be very high scoring. Both of the Browns, we know the Browns have an elite defense. They haven't been playing as well lately. but the Texans are down so many weapons. Do we have an update on Nico Collins? Is Nico Collins in today?
Nico is back, and I do have the injury report. If we're done with this game,
he did not have a full practice all week. I know that. I think we are done with the game. Yeah, but I would play Geno. I would definitely play Geno over Flacco today.
Did you guys make a pick?
we both took the Seahawks.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Ray.
Yeah, no. Oh, well.
He's taking them too.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be able to beat the Titans. I think that'll be too lucky, and I'm not a lucky person.
I try not to roll with luck. Eliminate it as much as possible. So,
all right,
we got our music for injury update time. You got our cowbell.
Oh, let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to unlock my DraftKings account.
Hear ye. Here are the players you must avoid today.
All right.
Because they're avoiding you.
Geno Smith is in. Trevor Lawrence is expected to play. Stroud and Levis both out. Nothing new there. Running backs, Ken Walker is officially in. Jonathan Taylor is in. And Zach Moss is out.
No.
Josh Jacobs is questionable. And that's Monday. Deontay Foreman is not expected to play.
That one we should talk about when we get to it. The Josh Jacobs
Which
one?
one?
Sorry. The Josh Jacobs one. You said Deontay Foreman what now?
Deontay Foreman is not expected to play. I believe this is a personal thing. Yeah.
Not expected to play. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, no. Oh, my God.
So that changes things a little bit on the running back side there.
Man, I have Roshan everywhere. I have Roshan everywhere except for redraft. Man, and I'm in my half PPR semifinals. And so asking for myself, would you flex? You'd have to, let's see. You pick two, okay? Nico Collins, Derrick Henry, Devon Achane, Roshan Johnson.
Henry Achane.
And you go Henry Achane?
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, the Roshan projections have already skyrocketed.
Oh yeah, still you can't put Roshan. He's not in that tier yet.
They're playing against the Cardinals today.
I know.
They're playing against the Cardinals today, and what people are like Justin Fields is all the DFS gurus number one play in. It's I know he's gonna score 20 points on my bench today, dude. I know it.
That's funny. Let me just get through the ins and outs real quick. I see we have a question, Ray, but let me just finish this up. We'll get to your question right away here.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Robinson is out. Jarek McKinnon is out. Alexander Madison is in, so that's something to monitor there. I think that will affect Chandler.
That makes people sad.
I wouldn't be confident in starting Madison.
That makes people sad.
AJ Dillon is in, if you care.
That makes people sad.
Elijah Mitchell, still questionable. Let's see. Wide receivers. Devontae Smith is in. Nico Collins is in. Michael Pittman is out. Tyreek Hill, still questionable, but trending towards playing. Please. Zay Flowers is questionable for Monday. Christian Watson out as usual. Jaden Reed is out. Dontavian Wicks is in. Zay Jones not expected to play. Hollywood is out. Greg Dortch questionable, and Tony is out. Who cares?
Woo! That's good.
Right?
Good for Mahomes fans.
Tight ends. Hunter Henry is out, which is unfortunate because he's been doing great. Cole Kmet is expected to play. Okonkwo is in, and Michael Mayer is out. And that's it for the injury update. If you guys have any questions, let us know. We'll tell you the information we have. And what was our question there, Ray?
Aaron Jones or Monty for highest ceiling facing with good squad.
Or who?
Monty.
Montgomery, I'm assuming.
Oh, I would play Aaron Jones. Yeah, they so the Packers, I know A.J. Dillon's going to play today, so that limits the chances that Aaron Jones is going to carry the ball upwards of 20 times, which is I was kind of hopeful for going into the game or going into the weekend. But they're down. Can we get an update on their receivers? Is Jaden Reed going to play? There's no Watson. And
I just went through those. Jaden Reed is out.
Yeah, Reed's out. So Jaden Reed is out. their passing offense is going to need Aaron Jones.
I agree that I mean, normally this would be an easy Montgomery, and that's why it's such a tough one, because Aaron Jones does have such a nice matchup.
Not based on what's going on though recently, because it's not just like Gibbs isn't just having more success; he's also taking more of Montgomery's important snaps inside the red zone.
It's true.
So I think I think we're seeing the shift in Detroit, and watched Montgomery has 3 touchdowns today. But I would rather start Aaron Jones. I literally almost I sent the trade offer to Brian to look at on Friday, and I almost pulled the trigger on that trade. I didn't, but I almost traded for Aaron Jones because I'm in the playoffs, and this matchup is so good, and I want to win. Aaron Jones is a top 15 running back to me.
Okay. I'm not as confident as you are. Aaron Jones has let me down a lot. I don't know. I think here
they're playing against the Panthers. They have to win.
He's asking for ceiling, though.
I would play Aaron Jones for ceiling. But
if you're talking about Montgomery,
floor,
might have 3 touchdowns.
He might, but he also hasn't. That hasn't happened since that Chargers game. He hasn't had a monster game since that Chargers game, and in that Chargers game, he had the best run of his life. That 65-yard touchdown run, but he'll never do that again. So, to me, if you're talking about a floor play, Montgomery, if he scores, is going to get you 13, 14 points, So I expect him to have a couple of catches and somewhere around 55, 60 yards rushing. But Aaron Jones could touch the ball 25 times today. A.J. Dillon has been injured, and regardless of the fact that he's playing, they need Aaron Jones in the passing game today. So I expect Aaron Jones to get somewhere around 6 or 7 targets and carry the ball 15-ish times. And against that Panthers, I don't even want to say rush defense, because they're just bad against running backs everywhere, whether the running backs are catching the ball or running the ball. They're just bad against running backs. So Aaron Jones looked healthy last week. Matt LaFleur talked about wishing that he had kept Aaron Jones going when he looked good early in the game. They were kind of he was on load management for in the middle parts of the game, and then they tried to rework him into the game later into the game. So his numbers probably don't look as good as they could have if the Packers had just been on a game plan that was to feed Aaron Jones the ball. So I think they're going to do that this week. And they're going to win. We're on that game right now. The Packers are going to win. Oh, we can't hear Brian. What happened?
That's him. I didn't do anything on my end. Oh, wait. No, I did do something on my end. There we go. Go ahead, Brian.
Olave put up 24 on him already, and he's facing an all-star lineup, so he really needs the points. I'm going to go ahead and agree with you on Aaron Jones. I think it's a little closer than what you do, but I mean, that's the guy that can really do the ceiling for you, I think, this week.
And we haven't had
to think about it, but
we haven't had an Aaron Jones 4 touchdown game yet this year, and we usually get one.
That is true.
So that's if I was looking for a ceiling play, I would be excited to have Aaron Jones on as an option today. I would.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Where are we? Next game. What do we got?
Packers in Carolina.
Yeah, we basically just talked about all of it right now. We didn't talk about too much
Right.
from the Panthers, but that's because there's not too much to talk about from the Panthers. They got lucky last week, and Arthur Smith handed them a win, because Arthur Smith was like, "Oh, it's the fantasy playoffs. We're definitely gonna fuck some people over and sit Bijan.
Watch this.
Watch this, guys." Yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm dead in Top Gun, is because not only did my opponent have the Raiders defense, I had Bijan.
On the Carolina side, I mean, you can start Chuba Hubbard, and
You should start
if you're
Chuba Hubbard.
really
You should start
desperate,
Chuba.
you can start Mingo, I guess.
No,
Mingo's
don't do
still
that.
getting the targets.
I would rather start Thielen. I would rather start
What are
Thielen
his targets
than
like?
Mingo.
I think Mingo's still getting the targets. I don't know if that's.
I think Mingo ran a lot of cardio last week, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he got 6 targets, but
5. It was 5.
5 targets.
5
Okay.
targets on 91% of the snaps, and his targets have gone down over the last 3 weeks. Like, he had that game against Tampa Bay, and everybody throws against Tampa Bay. where he had 10 targets. And he had 9 the week after, and then 5 last week against Atlanta. But there was a raining game, so there wasn't a whole lot of offense. So, grain of salt that one. But if I remember correctly, Adam Thielen still had a solid game.
Okay, well that's my memory was that Thielen did nothing again, but maybe he had a little something.
He still had 7 targets, and he was 4 for 43. Okay. And he was 5 for 74 the week before. And this Packers defense has been softer against the pass recently. So I would play Thielen. That's if I had to choose between Thielen and Mingo, I would play Thielen.
And that's the sad part is that you can't decide between the two, and it's a fantasy offense you want no part of. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you want like if you have to start a piece of this offense, I'm sorry, and like it should just be Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
But let's
right,
let's get away from this one as fast as possible.
Yep.
So you guys
we're all picking Green Bay.
Next up, Indianapolis Colts versus Atlanta Falcons. Let me see. Let me pull that back. +3 over under 44 plus 130.
I hope somebody put
-155 on the Falcons.
I hope somebody left him a burning bag of dog shit, because he certainly deserved it for what he did to us last week. That was horrendous, man. It was so bad. It was so annoying to watch. And I mean, he got what he deserved. A loss to the worst team in football. They lost to the worst team in football.
Yep. And now they're at home, and now I noticed that you had Bijan way down in your rankings. I mean, for me, I thought I probably had him 10 spots higher than you did. So I was kind of surprised by that.
I'm not going to rank him in the top 10 anymore. Because
I think you have him at like 20 something.
Like, yeah, I do, because it's about confidence. It's about like I would start all these other if I'm looking for, because like you can't just look at Bijan's statistics and assume that he's going to give you anything ever. Like based on what has happened so far this season, you cannot assume anything from Bijan. So that's why he's lower in my rankings. It's not that he's like not talented. It's not that he doesn't have an opportunity, possibly. We just don't know. So I would rather start all these other guys in front of him.
Okay. To me, this looks like a bounce back week for him. I mean, I don't have huge confidence in him, but I'm playing him in DraftKings. You know what I mean? And I don't think you are, right?
No, probably not. Yeah, and a lot of guys were. I heard that a lot of people playing him in DraftKings, and I just like in a tournament, I would play like in a tournament lineup, but in a cash lineup, it's like that's like betting on Zach Wilson.
Yeah, and that always goes well.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what you're getting is like, because Zach Wilson could give you, for his price, if you look at his price and you look what he's done in fantasy this year, he's paid off every game that he's finished. But, like what are you actually getting? And the thing is the floor is lava. And so that's the thing with Bijan to me is that as juicy as his playoff schedule was, and as much as there was opportunity in front of him based on the talent that is in front of him getting these opportunities, like it doesn't make any sense. But it's hard to have any confidence in him. And like, so the guys that I had him behind, let me see. So I ended up with Bijan at 24. So 24 to me is an auto start. You're still starting him. I'm just like, should I be more confident in Bijan than I should have been in? Now I had this week I put like Najee / Jalen Warren, and then lower on the rankings Jalen Warren / Najee Harris, because I was looking for some sort of confirmation as to which running back was going to get more, and whichever one got more, I was going to be more confident in that running back than I was in Bijan. And look, what did Najee do yesterday? He scored. He had how many yards?
13 points.
13? Yeah. And
13 fantasy points, yeah.
13, right. And if Bijan does that, I'm actually excited based on how low the floor has been for him, and like he's not your running back one. If Bijan is your running back one, you're probably at home. You're not listening to this podcast because you didn't make the playoffs. Like, I made the playoffs on the back of Kyron Williams. So having Kyron Williams and Tony Pollard on the team, it's fine to have Bijan. But
funny you bring up Pollard, because I was going to bring him up. Like, the way you're talking about Bijan, that's how I think about Pollard as well.
That's funny, and you know what? And you say that, and I heard that all week. But you know what? Pollard had 11 carries for over 50 yards. He still had 4 targets, of which he caught 3. The Cowboys just didn't move the ball. Pollard wasn't bad last week. Dak was.
And I'm not saying Pollard himself is bad, but he fantasy-wise, he's not reliable.
I mean, he's more. What are you talking about? He's more reliable than Bijan. The floor is much higher on Tony Pollard than it is on Bijan. That's not even close. Like, let me look that up. Pull that up real quick.
So should we go Bijan Pollard this week? Is that our hat bet?
Oh,
I'll take Bijan.
Oh man, no, I'm not going to do that one.
No,
because it's I don't actually at this moment don't know if Jonathan Hankins is playing for the Cowboys. He's their best run stopping defensive tackle. I don't know if he's playing today, and I don't have a whole lot of confidence that the Cowboys are going to be able to prevent, the Dolphins from running if they weren't able to prevent the Bills from running. So no, I don't want to take that bet. But but in terms of like the floor, I think I'm looking at half PPR. So even in half PPR, the floor for Tony Pollard this year was 5.5 points at the Niners, and in that game I'm sorry. That's actually probably wrong because my league, he lost 3 points for that fumble that wasn't actually a fumble. But that's neither here nor there. And then Bijan, we know what the floor is. We got it last week.
Right.
But he has scored less than that number 3 times this year.
Less than what number?
5.5.
Okay. Pollard has done it how many times?
He gave us that 0.3 at Tampa Bay when we didn't know he wasn't going to play.
Well, okay.
Because he had a headache. Then he gave us 3.9 against Minnesota.
Okay.
And the thing is it's the opportunity that's all over the place. Like, he has as many carries as 22, and in a game where he's finished the game, as few as 7. Without an injury designation affecting that.
No, that's Arthur Smith. We know.
And like, I'm somebody who bought into Bijan. I could have spent $2 extra in our draft and had McCaffrey instead of Bijan. I bet on Bijan because of youth and because of the schedule and because of the offense that they run. And it just made sense that they were going to, like, a team that runs the ball that much is going to give the ball to their best running back. And they just haven't done that. So at this point, no, I'm not ranking Bijan against the opportunity that you're going to get from Devin Singletary, DeAndre Swift, what we saw from Steelers running backs against a really poor Cincinnati defense yesterday, Josh Jacobs if he plays, Jonathan Taylor, Ken Walker, Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, Derrick Henry, James Conner, Ezekiel Elliott, Breece Hall, Pacheco, Barkley, Etienne, Gibbs, Pollard, Kamara, Kyron Williams, Rashad White, James Cook, Mostert, and McCaffrey. Those guys are all in front of Bijan to me. All of them.
You can't argue this hard and then not take the bet, brother.
Sure I can. Sure I can. Because
all right.
Because you're cherry picking again. Because you wouldn't you wouldn't say pick one of those 23. You picked one. You picked Pollard. So if you gave me an option of like 4, sure, I will. Like, you give me 4 choices of those 23 names that I just gave you, and I will pick one against Bijan today. Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, give me a second. I'll come up with some names. But as far as this game goes, the other thing to talk about, I think, is Pittman being out So Josh Downs might be a little bit better played than usual. So something to keep in mind
I
there.
actually think it's just a downgrade for their offense. Like I think
And
it
I
actually
agree with that.
that kind of makes me happy because it reduces the opportunity for touchdowns for Jonathan Taylor, who I'm playing against in half PPR Dynasty. I just saw something pop up on there.
Stephen Joe, what up, fellas? Metcalf or Bijan, half PPR.
That's terrible. That's a terrible place to be. I would rather play Metcalf
Terrible.
today.
That's a good place to be, man. If that's your flex, man, you're doing well. I'd play Bijan and be happy about it.
That's funny because I would play Metcalf.
Well, and I like Metcalf today. Don't get me wrong. I just I guess no. I think either way, I'd play Bijan. Bijan to me is just a little bit more ceiling and maybe even a little bit more floor.
Yeah, we're talking about a flex play, so I think Metcalf has a higher ceiling. Like that's the other thing is Bijan. He's like his ceiling for the season is 25 points, and 25 points is a nice game. It was RB3 on the season. That's his best finish by a touchdown.
I don't think that's going to be his best finish of the year, though, and we've only got a few games left.
I do. I do. I don't see how, like, he's playing against Indiana this week, and now in a game where we're expecting the scoring to come down, and then next week he's playing against a Chicago defense that's playing top 10 in the last month at Chicago. I don't see it. I don't see him scoring more than 25 points in either of these last two games. I'd bet on that.
Well, that was an outlier too, but no, I'd have confidence in Bijan today, and honestly, if that's your choice, I think you've got a good chance in your playoff round, man. Good luck.
Check this out, okay? This is Bijan. This is Bijan in. This is half PPR. No, this is. Hold on, 6.2. Yeah, this is half PPR. Bijan's finishes since week 7. Okay. 0.3 points, 12.2, 3.9, 17.1, 25.8, 9.4, 17.3, negative 1.1. Where you don't know what you're getting.
Who's Bijan playing against?
He's playing against the Colts today, and the Colts aren't like they're okay. They're a middle matchup. They're not one of the 5 matchups that you should be like looking for. But they're a good matchup if you expect your opponent's offense to be able to score. And the Falcons are not a good offense, so like you can't say that you ever expect them to be able to score. I am excited they went back to Taylor Heineke today. I'm excited for Drake London. That's what people should be excited about in this game. If you could play Drake London in this game somehow, you should do that.
So you guys going Colts or Falcons?
I'm going to say the Falcons will win at home with the Colts not having Michael Pittman.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that.
Okay,
Very
so
close, though.
It's 9:30. I'm not going to get my DraftKings unlocked today. Do you guys want to read your lineups?
Yeah, I can do that. I actually did have a lineup. I was only fooling, apparently. Are you ready, Brian? I can start us off.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I'm going to roll with Baker Mayfield at 6,000 as my QB. At running back, I'm going to play Breece Hall at 6,100, and I'm going to play the RB1 in Miami. I'm going to play Mostert at 7,300. When the Dolphins do get into unless Achane scores from 15 to 20 yards away, he is just not likely to be the guy who carries the ball into the end zone. It's much more likely to be Raheem Mostert, even if it takes a couple of times. As somebody who was rooting against him last week, I watched him get 3 consecutive goal line carries against the Jets. It was really frustrating. And so if they have, and I don't see why they won't have success against the Cowboys based on what happened to them in Buffalo last week. At wide receiver, stacking with my quarterback, I'm going to go with Chris Godwin, the guy actually leading the team in targets over the last couple of weeks. He's had 2 consecutive weeks of 10-plus targets, and with some success, him and Baker Mayfield are starting to look like they're clicking a little bit, and they're playing against the Jags. So I expect him to do well. I just talked about Drake London, $5,100. Going to play him too. And then DJ Moore against the Cardinals. They really struggled against Deebo Samuel last week, and DJ Moore is a similar type of problem. At tight end, how could you not start David Njoku? He's gonna get getting like 14 targets a game right now from Flacco. It's insane, and he looks good. Like hurdling guys, stiff arming guys. He looks awesome. He looks like he's having fun. You gotta love it.
Wait,
and then,
was he the one that tried to hurdle a guy?
Yes, and he Superman punched him, and then you saw him and the guy there laughing on the sideline. Yeah, I like Njoku a lot. I'm sad that my team didn't work out because he was like I told people about him at the beginning of the season. I was like, he's like my favorite sleeper tight end, and it took their quarterback situation getting right, but he's leading the team in targets and he's dominating. He looks like a top 5 dynasty tight end right now because he's 27. My favorite punt play of the week is Parker Washington at Tampa Bay. He's only $3,800, and he is playing the role of Christian Kirk. He's getting screen passes, he's getting end-around runs, and he's not leading the team in targets, but Tampa Bay, they're just giving it up to people right now, so I like him. And then I'm going to play the Jets against the Commanders at home for $3,100, and that's my lineup.
All right. I've been doing pretty well on these. If anybody at home's been following along, like if you've been betting my lineup, you've done pretty well over the last 8 or 9 weeks. I say that because this week I am in the fantasy playoffs, and all I care about are my players on my team. So this week the lineup might be a little bit skewed towards people I'm probably starting. So keep that in mind. This might not be the ideal week to listen to me, but hopefully it is. We're going to go with Joe Flacco at quarterback. And we're going to go with his big hookup with Elijah Moore for our hookup. No particular reason there.
Yeah, not at all.
Tyreek Hill, starting him because please.
He's just starting his You're cursing yourself, dude. Don't curse me too. Get Tyreek out of there, dude. Play somebody else. Come on. You're going to curse both of us. I don't want to lose.
Those were my big homer picks. From here, it gets a little bit more interesting. I got Bijan Robinson. I think he's got a good matchup this week, and for $6,300, he's cheap. Ken Walker at $6,200. I mean, he's healthy playing this week, and at $6,200, like somebody of that talent, it's just too much. Let's see. I've got Parker Washington again, as same as you, for one of my guys. I've got at tight end, I've got Trey McBride.
Oh yeah,
because that guy is just a monster.
You're talking about tight end 1, Trey McBride,
right?
Tight end, of the future. Like he looks awesome. Like Kyler
and Sam Laporta this year. My goodness.
Well, so I've been really impressed with some of the numbers that Laporta has put up, and he's looked good in a couple of spots. He runs crisp routes. He runs well.
Right.
But he hasn't flashed.
He's not the beast that McBride is.
Yes, and McBride is doing it in so many different ways. Like he's running the routes, running away from guys, running over guys, making sideline grabs. He made a DeAndre Hopkins catch on Sunday. It was incredible.
The one that was over the guy's helmet, he reached over and just took it away from the defender.
Oh my
God,
that
was fantastic.
He's so much fun to watch, and he plays the game with that that juice that you get from Kittle and Kelsey and Gronk. Those elite tight ends that the guys that know that they're the best player on the field. That when they have the ball, that you are afraid. They know you're afraid. Yeah, he's fun to watch.
And then just to finish off the lineup, Breece Hall is my flex, and the Vikings are my defense.
Cool. I like where I'm at against you this week.
Hey, you deserve a win finally.
Yeah, I
It's
do.
been a while.
I do deserve a win. That's for sure.
Okay, we'll slide back around to the tournament lineup.
I didn't set a tournament lineup, so we can just skip that one if you want to.
Well, let me just throw this one out here. I
Nobody cares.
actually kind of like this lineup.
I want to hear it.
I've got Justin Fields, Derrick Henry, Ken Walker, Cooper, Amari Cooper, DJ Moore for the hookup, Parker Washington, he's the free swear, and let's see, I've got Trey McBride again. I threw in Mingo because he's just 3,600, and the Browns DST.
So I like my half PPR team wants that one to go off. Because I've got Ken Walker and Derrick Henry and Trey McBride. So I would love for you to be successful in your tournament lineup today. As far as your Jonathan Mingo, I'm gonna find you a better start than Jonathan Mingo right now.
While he's doing
for
that,
3,600.
Yeah, don't do that to yourself. There's got to be a better play. I'm gonna find it right now.
while he's doing that, next up, Cleveland Browns versus the Texans.
I would rather play Josh Reynolds today.
Actually, real quick, we do have a question.
Oh yeah, from Juan.
Yeah.
Who
Hey,
is
Juan, good to see you again.
who is the better start this week, Barkley or Hubbard?
Barkley, not close.
Barkley, not
Yeah,
close.
what's Barkley's matchup?
Giants
I don't
are
care.
against.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter, does it?
No, Barkley, he's just as likely to go
Eagles.
off in a bad matchup as he is in a good matchup.
They're playing against the
Okay.
Eagles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
but
playing
that's why he's asking.
But they're playing at the Eagles, but the Eagles have been softer against the run recently. They're really beat up right now.
Okay, so next up, Browns versus Texans. Browns are -3, over-unders at 40, -162 if you're betting on the Browns, +136 if you're betting on the Texans.
All right.
It feels so bad picking against the Texans these days, you know?
Yeah,
because they're such a fun team to
without their
root for.
quarterback. Yeah, but without Stroud, I mean, what can you do?
Didn't they just win with freaking
They did.
Keenum?
They did.
with Keenum? With my
So-
boy Case?
I'm actually going to pick them at home today to win. The Browns.
wow.
Yeah, the Browns have really struggled to run the football. So
This is true.
I think the Texans are going to play a cleaner game than some of the Browns' opponents have been playing recently. I think they got helped out by some Justin Fields miscues last week. And also they should have lost the game. The Hail Mary at the end of the game should have been caught. It hit him right in the hands.
I want to note that when we talked about Keenum last week, I think it was last week, I had mentioned that he just doesn't have the arm, and they, for one play, brought in their other quarterback to throw a deep ball.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I said. But anyway, yeah, I'm still going to go with my boy Keenum.
I'll take the Browns.
You're gonna lone wolf on that one. We'll let you
Cool.
lone wolf on Flacco.
And next up, we have the Washington Commanders against the New York Jets. Commanders are at +3, over-unders at 36.5 with a +136 on the money line, -162 if you're betting on the Jets.
Brian, you should definitely start. Where'd it go? Yeah, I'm sorry, I lost it. Where did he go? Jameson Williams? I think it was Jameson Williams. Yeah, Jameson Williams is $3,700. So you played Mingo for 36. You got to play Jameson Williams instead.
All right, I'll take a look.
That's got to be possible. Sorry, we're on the Commanders game now. Oh, God, let's just not.
Yeah,
talk about
Jets,
this game.
Commanders. Yeah, I mean, you're
Just
gonna
play
start
both
Breece Hall,
defenses. Just play both defenses.
Ds. Yeah, play McLaurin, and actually, McLaurin is it would. I am the
Unless you're
McLaurin
counting
lover,
on
and I might
Jacoby
even
Brissett
bench
to
him
get in the
this week,
game
yeah.
again, because they went back to Hal. They only put Jacoby Brissett in the game so I could wear this hat.
You wear it well, sir.
but I mean, he was super successful, and they still are going to go back to Hal this week. What do you like? So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to start Terry McLaurin? If you have,
honestly, I'd try
this is
not
a
to.
serious question because Terry McLaurin is somebody's wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. Like he's at worst like a premium flex option for them this week. So are you starting him?
Only if I have to.
Let's see. Where did he end up for me? I think I moved him up because I was when I made my rankings, I was hopeful that they would start Brissett. So I moved him into like 16, 17. But for me, yeah, he's right on that fringe range. Like you should have somebody to start if you're only starting 2 wide receivers. That's better than McLaurin. But if you're starting 3, it's going to be hard to get away from him. He's right in that range.
Yeah.
So.
And honestly, I want to pick the Jets here, but they don't have a quarterback. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Commanders and go that way.
I'm going to take the Jets at home. There's no way I'm taking the Commanders on the road.
That's my instinct, but
the Jets. I think the Jets defense will win the game.
I think you might be right there.
Not right enough for me. I'm going to also pick the Commanders. Next up is the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jacksonville -1. Over-unders at 43. High-scoring game. -115 if you're betting on the Jags. -105 if you're betting on the Bucs. Maybe gets a plus.
Finally, we get to talk about this. This was the Jaguars were the team that irritated me the most last week. They were so, and not only because I got robbed of a Calvin Ridley touchdown, but they just booted points all game long. It was incredible. And the end of the first half was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. They complete a pass all the way down to like the 5-yard line. The clock is ticking from about 30 seconds. It looks like we lost Brian there.
Yeah, I'm marking on it.
The clock is ticking from about 30 seconds. And instead of going up there to spike the ball, they run a play, complete a pass that loses yards and don't get out of bounds. And the clock runs out before they can kick a field goal.
I wonder if that's him on his. I'm going to redial.
It was.
Oh, wait. There he is. Okay.
It was unbelievable. Did you see that, Brian? The Sunday night game?
Sorry. Not the whole thing, no.
So no, the end of the first half. The end of the first half on Sunday night when the Jaguars complete a pass down to the 5-yard line, and there's about 25 seconds when the guy falls to the ground, there's about 25 seconds. They come running up to the line, and instead of clocking it with about 18 seconds to go, they run a play. And they lose yards on like a swing screen pass type bubble screen, and then run out of time and don't get to kick a field goal. And it was the 4th time in the first half that they had gotten to the Ravens side of the field and failed to score. They went to the half with no points.
Jeez. Yeah, I remember that, a little bit of that disaster there. I was watching at that point. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's crazy because I think if the game is closer, they call that Calvin Ridley play differently. Like I think if they don't fail to score so many times and because the Calvin Ridley touchdown that didn't count was going to take the game from 23-7 to 23-15 or 23 to 13 maybe 15. So it's not, and there was like 3 minutes to go or something like that. So it's not near as a big deal. But if, that is a game tying touchdown or, a lead changing touchdown because they haven't failed so many times throughout the game, maybe the referees maybe they scrutinize it a little harder because the lead analyst, the rules analyst for the game, completely disagreed with the call. And it happened kind of quick. They didn't it wasn't one of those it was a pretty close call, and they came back pretty quick from looking at it. It was one of those ones that probably if the game was close would have taken them 5 minutes to figure out. So all that being said, the Jaguars played a lot better than what the final score showed last week. I thought they should have won. I thought they were the better team. I thought they played better football for most of the game, and then they just shot themselves in the foot. Trevor Lawrence.
But Tampa's been playing well.
Their offense
Tampa's been playing well too.
They're getting healthy. They're getting healthy too. So I'm actually going to pick the Buccaneers at home today, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, no, I like that call. I think it's going to be a high-scoring, close game. Actually, this looks like one of the better games on the slate. This looks like a lot of fun.
It does. It's I'm a little sketchy on it because of the Lawrence concussion. I mean, he's going to play today, but still, he didn't look right at the end of the game last week. He was missing some throws. He looked a little. He just didn't. His arm. It looked like he was just a little groggy. When he was finishing that game. So, I'm not as excited as I would like to be to start all of the guys, but I think the Buccaneers are going to play well. I think the Buccaneers are going to win this game, and they're going to score points. I don't know if Jacksonville's going to be able to keep up, but I think the Buccaneers are going to score points today.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and take the Bucs too. Surprisingly, I agree with you. I think it's really tight. Like it could definitely go either way, but I think the Bucs at home with a scrappy Baker Mayfield, man, he's been playing well.
Real quick, I'm super happy about that too because I had mentioned, I think it was last week, I was just talking about how well he's been playing. He's been like in the fourth quarter, Baker Mayfield has been playing as well as any quarterback this year, outside of maybe Brock Purdy, because Brock Purdy is just playing elite in every quarter.
So you guys are going what? I'm going to take the Bucs.
I'm going to take the Bucs.
Oh, wow. All three of us on the Bucs.
Okay.
Crazy.
Next up, Dallas Cowboys versus Miami Dolphins.
Do we not have Bezzy today?
No, he doesn't. And I kind of expect that because it's Christmas Eve and everything.
Merry Christmas, Bezzy. If you get a chance to listen to this,
Okay.
Let me see here. Let me pull it back up. Cowboys in Miami. Oh, Cowboys +1. Over under is 48.5. -102 if you're betting on the Cowboys, and -118. CeeDee Lamb was on my DraftKings lineup had I been able to.
Do we have an update on Zach Martin?
I don't know. My updates are for the offensive players. I honestly don't know.
Well, yeah, he is an offensive player.
Oh, lineman?
Yeah, and the splits when he plays and doesn't play are dramatically affecting to Dak. So it's important. It's like when Teron Armstead is missing from the Dolphins.
Gotcha. Well, and honestly, looking at this game, we've got two teams here that are really good at crushing bad teams and really good at losing to teams that are pretty good. So now, who's going to come out and win this one? It's kind of interesting. You think so?
Yeah. Wait, where are they playing?
Miami,
right? Yeah, Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cowboys are going to be all hot. They're not used to that being in Texas.
And it is warm today. It's going to be 70s for the game. And actually, I think that bodes well for the Cowboys because that's what the thing that bothers me about this version of the Cowboys is that they don't seem to travel well. Their game doesn't travel well. That's frustrating.
I really love that shirt. I love mine too. Can't wait to wear it.
Yeah. The McVay one with the puppet strings, I saw that and I bought that one instantly. I was like, oh, that is just too perfect.
I've been on like the McVay high for a while now, so it just kind of was like, oh, that fits.
That's awesome. I'm having trouble finding something on Zach Martin. Sorry, but
as of yesterday, he was questionable, so that's good. It's not doubtful, so that's good. If Zach Martin is questionable, he will likely play. So that's really good for the Cowboys. That's a big deal. Tyron Smith is doubtful. That's becoming less of a big deal with Tyler Smith emerging as the best tackle on the team. But yeah, that's also something. The Cowboys' offensive line is not going to be 100% today. That being said, the Dolphins are not the Bills defensively. I think the Bills are a much better team. The Dolphins have been playing well in fantasy, but they've been picking on some bad offenses, I think. So, like in that stretch, they played the Jets twice. Like over the last month, they played the Jets twice. So your defense is going to put up points when that happens. I think I do expect the Cowboys to play better today. They play better after losses. I don't think I'm not sure. I'd have to check this, but I can't. I don't think they've lost 2 consecutive games in more than 2 years.
So,
all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take Miami there, and I see we have an interesting question.
McBride
I like
or
this one.
McBride or what do you say? How do you say the name?
Achan.
Achan at flex, starting Laporta and Gibbs. Merry Christmas to you.
Oh,
Rookies.
you're starting Laporta over McBride?
Over Gibbs.
Yeah, Laporta over McBride, which, you know, you know what? I think
I don't know if I do that.
I tell you what. No, here's the thing. If you need a floor play, if you just need a solid play, I'd go with McBride. McBride is guaranteed points.
Targets. He's going to lead the team in target. He's going to have like 12 targets today, and the Bears are going to score points against them, so they're going to have to score.
But if you need that ceiling game from something, then I go with Achan because Achan could go crazy.
He could.
You know?
Yeah, it depends on what your projections are. If you're close, if your projection's close, I would play McBride, and if you're like projected to lose by a lot, I would play Achan.
I agree with that completely. But thanks for the question, man. Appreciate it.
Merry Christmas.
Welcome
Merry
to
Christmas
the channel.
Good luck in the playoffs.
I don't know if that's your first time dropping a question in the channel, but welcome. Next question. D-Hop, Metcalf, or Godwin to start? I have Rashi already on a wide receiver slot and Breece Hall on my flex because I have Saquon and CMC. I have a weird team.
I'm sorry, say again. What were the options?
D-Hop, Metcalf. Go ahead. You want to read it?
D-Hop, Metcalf, or Godwin?
Godwin. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Godwin for me.
See, Godwin would be on my number 3 there, I think. I think I'd go D-Hop, then Metcalf, then Godwin.
I just like what's going on with Godwin lately. It looks like Mike Evans is slowing down a little bit. And like I said, it looks like Baker Mayfield and Godwin are finally clicking. You know, it's a lot of these targets that Godwin's getting lately are first option targets where he's the first read on the play. So that's the part that is appealing.
Yeah, and I totally get
and
that.
He has
I
his
can't
quarterback.
fault you for that.
That's the other thing.
I agree too. Yeah,
he has his quarterback. So
yeah.
And welcome, you guys, all you new people. Don't forget to hit notify and subscribe. We're also on your iTunes platforms or your podcasting platforms. I know football season is coming to an end, but we're going to make a stronger effort this year to be on off season and have all kinds of fantasy theories for you guys coming into the 2025 season, 2024 season.
And I watch all the rookie tape, so
there you go.
If you, at the worst, you can follow me and you'll see me talking about rookies. Because as I am watching rookie tape, I'll be sharing videos and highlights and thoughts of guys and putting together player profiles and stuff like that.
And I'll be on here questioning them about all that stuff. So you know what I mean. I don't really go and watch the video myself, but I listen to people who do, and then I can kind of question Ken here, and I think it turns into something good that we can all kind of figure out where we're at on these people. Juan, he's got another question here.
Which one should I start? Collins, Cooper, or Brown?
Is that Nico Collins?
I'm assuming that's Nico Collins, Amari Cooper, Brown.
I would start Amari Cooper among those 3.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper has Joe Flacco.
Wait, what Brown is he talking about? That's
I would imagine Noah Brown.
Oh, okay. Cooper, yeah. Cooper stands out quite a bit out of those 3 for me.
Isn't there a Brown on the Eagles?
Huh? He doesn't have A.J. Brown.
Okay.
So, yeah, Amari Cooper.
So, I know Ken's going Cowboys. Brian, where are you at?
I'm going to go ahead and take the Dolphins. Dolphins at home. Basically, I'm going to take the home team there, so because I don't know how it's going to go. That's a crazy one.
I think it's going to be a fast field because of the weather, it being over 70 degrees at kickoff. So I think that we're going to get a more normal game out of both of these teams. I think they're going to score. I think both teams are going to be able to score. I don't see the Dolphins as being able to hold down the Cowboys the way that the Bills were able to do last week. I could be wrong, though. The Dolphins actually, on that note, I mean, the most impressive thing about the Dolphins to me last week was the energy that they played with throughout the game and holding the Jets down. It seemed like it was important to them to get a shutout.
Next
There you
up,
go.
Cardinals versus Chicago Bears. Chi-Town. Cardinals +4, over-unders 42, +170 if you're betting on the Cardinals, -205 if you're betting on the Bears.
All right, we need to start getting through these games pretty quick. We're almost out of time here.
We're almost done.
Arizona Cardinals. We were talking about McBride. Got to play him. Chicago is interesting this week. Could that DJ Moore Fields connection could totally go off this week? And then we also talked about the running backs earlier. With Deontay Foreman out, it leaves more room for the other two. So we'll see what happens with Roshan and
I'm super
and what's his
scared that
name there?
Roshan's going to go off on my bench today, dude. And I don't have the cojones
Yeah.
to start him, over Collins or Henry or HN. But I'd like to, because the Cardinals are the actual worst rush defense in the league. And if the Bears are smart, like we've been talking about for a month now, they will just hand it over to Roshan because he's clearly the best running back on that team.
I'm going to go ahead and take Chicago here. I
Me too.
think they
Me
might
too.
win in a lapper.
I think so too. Like the Cardinals, outside, it's funny because we're so excited about Trey McBride, but outside of Trey McBride, their pass offense is just it might be the worst in the NFL.
Agreed. All right, we got another question here.
Yeah,
Worse than
Ben
Carolina.
Schuler, Singletary, Addison, or Devontae Smith. Pick two.
Singletary and Devontae Smith.
Agreed. I think Addison is the clear number 3 out of those. Go with the other two and feel good about it.
Welcome, Ben. If this is your first time here, which I think it is, I don't recognize the name. We are on all your podcast platforms too. Don't forget to subscribe and notify. We hope to have an exciting off season. I know it's the end of the year, but if you're a long-time player,
Depends. Hey, if you're a dynasty player, we're just getting started. The year,
Right.
the season's the boring part. Like you put all the work in the off season. That's like you hope that it pays off. But during the season, you're mostly just watching stuff that's happening. It's the off season where the work happens. So like in most of my leagues, like in one league, we don't shut off trades. We just have trading constantly. And like that trade that I told you about was between me and another playoff team. There's that. But in my other dynasty leagues, I'm waiting. I can't wait, just salivating for the trade lock to come off after the season ends, so I can start selling these guys and start getting some draft picks and start getting ready for the draft. So yeah, well, we're excited for that.
All right, what do we got here?
Next, looks like we've got the night game. We've gotten through all the afternoon games. So if you were trying to get your DraftKings ready, you were trying to get your lineups ready for the afternoon, you should be there now, and you can cruise through these primetime games with us.
next up we got New England Patriots versus Denver Broncos. +7.5 if you're betting on the Patriots. Over/unders 37. +270 is the money line. -340 is the money line on the Broncos.
All right, I'll take the Denver Broncos here, and I don't think I want to start anybody from this game. Maybe Sutton.
Oh,
But
you got to start.
that's about the only player.
Zeke is a top 12, right? Borderline top 12 to me. Like it didn't
Really?
work out last week because they were playing against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs they're an excellent defense, and Zeke is their best offensive weapon right now. So it wasn't going to work out very well. But he still caught, I think, 5 or 6 passes over the last 2 weeks. He has 15 targets. And Denver
You're right.
is the absolute worst team in the NFL in yards per carry, yards allowed per rush attempt. So Zeke is going to get 90% or more of the running back touches. I love Zeke. There's no way I'm not starting. Like I almost traded for him. I early in the season I had him, and then early in the season I unloaded him to the Ramondre Stevenson owner when he was struggling. For a second round pick in 2025. I almost like offered it back to because I think he's going to be that good this week and next week.
All right, I don't have that kind of confidence, but you're right. He is a volume play. He's definitely somebody you can have as your number 2. But
You should be happy.
man, I don't know. I feel like Denver's going to smash here, but we'll see.
Dude, I would honestly, seriously, in my rankings, I would rather have Zeke than James Conner, Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Ken Walker, Jonathan Taylor,
Wow.
Josh Jacobs. Like I would rather play Zeke than all of those guys this week. Most of that is matchup. But it's also that like he's a running back who's gonna get 6+ targets today, and he's gonna carry the ball 20 times against the worst rushing defense in the league.
I don't think they're that bad anymore, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
No, they are.
He's definitely
they are.
volume.
They are still that bad. They are historically bad in yards allowed per attempt.
So you
All
guys,
right, well, who are you picking?
Yeah.
I got Denver.
I'm still going to pick Denver.
Okay.
And that's the crazy thing is like I think you can get a monster, and Zeke doesn't have to score. That's the other thing is he's gonna have like one of those Kamara-like games without a touchdown. So if he scores, you're talking top 5 RB finish on the week. I think.
Real quick, Ken, before I forget, what was your DraftKings score last week?
122 something, but that was because my quarterback died. Just so hey all right, I bet on Zach Wilson last week. All right, he was cheap.
Okay, next up, Raiders versus Kansas City Chiefs. Raiders plus 11. The over-under is 40.5. I would actually take Raiders and the points on that. And then money line's plus 425, minus 575 on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I would take Raiders and the points. Kansas City plays down.
What was the points?
Plus 11.
Yeah, they're just not beating it. I mean, they did beat the Raiders by more than 11 a couple weeks ago. So
Was it only a couple of weeks ago?
yeah, I think so. I think it was like 3 weeks ago. I'd have to look. I know they just played them recently, and because we were counting on a good Patrick Mahomes performance, and we just didn't get it.
I'm guessing we're all going Chiefs on this.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't think it's close, honestly. Yeah, it was 3 weeks ago. Week 12, they played in Vegas, and Mahomes was just under 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he was good.
What was the score?
I don't have the score of the game. Let me see. Hold on. It was. No, I don't have the score of the game.
I'll look it up.
But I'm pretty sure they won that game going away. I think they won. I think it was like 34-14, somewhere in that range.
31-17.
Yeah. Hey.
What'd you say it was?
34-14. So I expect similar things to happen today, but I think it's going to be Isaiah Pacheco. I think Pacheco is going to have a monster game. You got to be worried if you're a Travis Kelce manager. It looks like the wheels are falling off. Like I don't know if you're watching, but it looks bad. Like Rashee Rice is completely taken over as the number 1 target. Like Mahomes is looking for him first now. You obviously can't get away from starting him, and they're playing at home against the Raiders. So I could see a vintage, Mahomes performance, but I'm not ready. Like that used to be something you just bet on every single week.
Yeah.
It was like it'd flip a coin, and now it's like, I hope. Come on, please. Yep. Yeah, Chiefs are obviously going to win, but the player you got to be most excited about in this game has got to be either Pacheco or Rashee Rice. It's not Mahomes or Kelce. In terms of like,
weird.
Yeah, it's weird, but in terms of where you're starting them and what you expect them to produce, like there's a good 7 or 8 quarterbacks that you'd rather start this week than Mahomes, and then there's at least 5 tight ends that you'd rather start than Kelce based on what's going on recently.
Yep.
So next up, New York Giants versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Also, we got 3 Monday night games.
It's Monday. It's Christmas Day, and so the NFL is competing with the NBA this year.
Oh, geez.
So there's for people who don't know, Christmas is the NBA's day. Like the NFL has had Thanksgiving, and the NBA's had Christmas for forever. And the NFL is just like, wait a minute, we're bigger than you. Like finally in 2023, they're like, hey, we could just do Christmas Day games. And I think it's like
it landed on Monday.
If it landed on Wednesday, they probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. So plus 13.5 if you're betting on the Giants. Over unders at 43. As these games are starting, my page is updating. Sorry. Plus 575 if you're betting on the Giants. Minus 850 if you're betting on the Eagles.
How about the passing paisan? the passing paisano, whatever it was, whatever he trademarked this week. Like I know he trademarked a couple of names this week. That was the funny one. But yeah, Danny Tommy DeVito, man, he's doing it. He's playing really well. He's got the Giants excited. They look fun. I'm not gonna pick them to beat the Eagles for the first time in like 8 years or something like that. It's been I feel like it's been a while since they've beaten Eagles. But I would really like, what a Christmas present that would be.
Yeah, for your Cowboys.
Yeah.
Well, for my house, because for me, as a Dallas fan, and then for Roxana, the 49ers fan, because when they win later in the evening, they'll clinch the 1 seed and be able to just like coast for the last couple of weeks.
Sitting stardoms.
I believe that's what happens actually. If San Francisco wins today, or tomorrow, and the Eagles lose, I believe San Francisco clinches the 1 seed.
Yeah. And start Barkley and start your usual Eagles, and that's about it.
Darren Waller is going to play.
Yeah.
I
You have your tight end set at this point. Only if you're desperate.
I'm just saying, if you're desperate, to me, he played last week. He played about half the snaps. He played less than half the snaps and had 6 targets, and went 4 for 40. So, honestly, Darren Waller, if you are still shut, like we're
sorry.
We've been locked up in our tight ends for quite a while. But if you're somebody who's been struggling for tight end, you should be looking at Darren Waller. Darren Waller is not somebody who should be on the waiver wire because he could get played against you. He's playing against Philadelphia this week, and they're going to ramp him up more this week, and then he gets the Rams at home to finish the season. The Rams are the worst team against tight end. So, I think you should be watching out for Darren Waller. Like, pick him up, get him off the waiver wire. He should not be there. Going to be a top 6 start next week. And other than that, the Eagles are going to smash.
All right.
All right, next up, Baltimore Ravens versus the 49ers. Baltimore is +6, over-under is 46.5, +205 if you're betting on the Ravens, -250 if you're betting on the Niners.
I find this Baltimore team just really hard to believe in for me. It's weird.
Agreed.
Because they are the 1 seed, but it feels like they're the 1 seed in a really down year in the AFC. Like, I feel like they're not really an 11-3 team. They're more like a 9-5, 8-6 team that has just kind of gotten a little bit lucky. And I think the 49ers are just going to crush them on Monday night. I think they're just going to demolish them because the 49ers get up for games. Like the 49ers don't throw out stinkers in big games. Like, they're going to come out. They're gonna realize that this is the number 1 representative from the AFC, and they have an opportunity to embarrass them, and on Christmas, and they're gonna do it.
I think that's what's going to happen. Hey, Juan just put a comment up there, and hey, Juan, glad to help you out. I'm glad you made your playoffs in 2 leagues, and just like
That's
we've
awesome,
seen
dude.
a huge improvement in your play this year. Like, seriously, it's really paid off. A lot of times this year, I've gone to the waiver wire going, okay, this guy has got to be still out there. And Juan picked him up. God damn it.
Yep, weeks
So,
ago. Weeks ago,
yeah.
too. It's hilarious. Like, he's been on top of stuff. Like, he stole McBride from me. Who else did he get from me this year? I feel like there was a couple of guys that he got off the waiver wire that I was a little slow on. Where did Rice end up? Is that where Rice is? He has Rashee Rice too.
Yeah.
Those were 2 guys. Like, if I had Rashee Rice and Trey McBride, I'd still be in it.
Next up, Jets versus the Browns. This is the Thursday game. Let me take a.
Oh God, you can skip football on Thursday.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Jets at
Browns to win.
The Browns to win. Like, I don't unless Aaron Rodgers plays.
Yeah, he said he's not.
And then
did he actually shut it down for the year? Like, did they confirm that?
For sure.
Because I've just still been seeing mixed things where there's reports of the Jets moving forward, with his transactionally moving him forward towards getting onto the field, like the opening up the window, returning him to the active roster, things like because he's on the active roster now. I'm pretty sure the 53. I'm pretty.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't.
Or
No, not to 53. I forget, but
No, yeah, because they
basically, if
dropped
they don't
that one
activate
guy.
him this week, he's
I'm pretty
done
sure
for the year, and that's what happened.
He made it to 53. They dropped that one guy.
Yes.
It was a little story about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the guy who dropped.
So you make it to 53, but 53 isn't what they take to Sunday. They take 45 to Sunday.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Okay.
And you have 8 inactives. So that's what he was trending towards, was being on the active roster and then being inactive on Sunday, which is like the very final step before playing. So anyway, good for him that that's not happening. That they're not going to throw him out there, because this is like they have to invest in the offensive line. It's so bad, and I'm so happy to finally hear some people put something out there about that. I actually heard a fantasy analyst say this week that they didn't think that there would be a marketable improvement even if Aaron Rodgers took over under center right now, because the Jets are that bad. And I've been saying that all year.
Yes, you have.
Because people have been killing Zach Wilson, and I'm watching these games, and it's like, what do you want him to do when he snaps the ball and doesn't even get to set on a 3-step drop? What do you want him to do? And what's Aaron Rodgers going to do? Tear an Achilles?
Well, yeah, I mean, the 3 plays that he played, I think he was harassed on all 3
All
plays.
3 of them. No. He handed the ball off once.
Fair enough. All right, I'm ready to watch some football. What's our last one here?
Our last one is
Saturday.
Detroit versus
Oh.
Cowboys.
All right. So even if the Cowboys lose today, they will get right in this game. They will smash the Lions at home.
I'll take Dallas there.
You can believe that. I actually think the Lions are going to have a little bit of swoon here. Obviously, I picked the Vikings to beat them today. I'm putting all of it together, everything that they've been doing. I think they're really gonna make their fans sad this year. They're gonna win one of these games against the Vikings, and they'll win the division and get a home game, and I think they'll lose. I think it's lining up. They're gonna end up hosting the Rams in a playoff game and just get crushed.
That would be fun.
It would be fun.
But yeah, I'll take the Cowboys there.
All right, everybody. Thanks for being with us. Merry Christmas. We hope to see you next week. Still looking for start sits, because you're looking at your title.
Yep. Merry Christmas, everybody, and good luck. Make it to that championship round.
Crush it.
Yeah.